Hey guys, this is Mote, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a project I did 2 weeks or so ago. And this was actually a really cool project for me. It was an introduction video, it was the music for an introduction video for a new gaming tournament on a site called TeamLiquid.net. It's a tournament they've organised, and if you're from the website you'll know the video I'm talking about already. And I want to show you a bit inside the project and how I came up with the music and the different elements are in it, because there's a lot that's in it that you can't necessarily pick out when you listen to the finished track, so it should be really interesting. And this was a really cool thing to do because I've been part of this community for a long time. I've played the game for a long time and I've been a fan of the game for a long time, so being asked and being in a position where I can now contribute by doing music for events and things like that was really cool. And I think I can bring something special because I approach it from a fan's point of view. So I use things like sounds from within the game and took my the cues for my own sound from the music within the game as well. So I was able to incorporate things that hopefully a fan would really notice. And again, if you come from the website and you've seen the video, then maybe you can tell me, did that work, and did that work for you? But yeah, I think it's just going to be cool to have a look at some of the elements and talk a bit about how I came up with the track. So yeah, let's take a quick look.
Alright, so here we have it. This is Cubase. This is where the magic happens. Just going to hide that away for you. You don't need to know about that. This is where did I say magic? I meant music. These are all the various folders. So this is my kind of organization. So all the stuff is in all these various folders, because otherwise it gets far too untidy. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to play you the video and play you the music, because that's the cool bit.
I see you have an appetite for destruction.
Alright, woohoo, there we have it. So that's the video as it ended up with the music playing directly from in my project. Anyone who's seen the video before, you can kind of compare it and see how the audio quality is. Maybe it's a lot different. The volume certainly should be different, but we'll see how this pans out. But anyway, so yeah, within this video we've got all kinds of things. So you'll notice at the beginning it's got kind of a cool, well, I say cool, it's got kind of an engine sort of build-up thing. I wanted it to be like the sound of a spaceship taking off. For anyone who doesn't know, the game is a strategy game and it's based in space. So this tournament is like a big reboot of an old tournament series. So I wanted it to be like this big thing coming back to life. And you've got these images of, if you see in the video, of like the big TLS thing kind of coming into view, and it seemed like this was kind of a big thing starting back up again. So that's in here. So I'm going to play you a bit of just those by the oh, sorry, cut myself off there. Just those by themselves. Okay, and how I did that is they're all synths. So a lot of people would do sound design like that, and they'd use like for example, the sound of an engine and sort of drop that into the project. But I've used all synths for this, and I've frozen them now, so I can't actually show the individual instruments. But a lot of it's done with this really old kind of crappy free synth that I've used a lot, so I know it kind of inside out. And you just get all these cool sounds once you know how to manipulate it. So that was really fun. And then, let's see, what did I incorporate? And then you've got cool stuff from actually within the game. So that's stuff like the countdown noise. So like this, for example. So anyone who plays the game or has watched the game will recognize that countdown sound right away, because that's like an iconic sound from the game. I've obviously screwed with it a bit, but it's basically as it appears in the game. And then you've got, so when the logo lands, so at that moment when it kind of goes bam, championship, I've incorporated more in-game sounds. So that's some of this stuff in here. So here it is. Yeah, pretty simple stuff, but that's again taken from directly in the game, and that was something which is really cool to do, because also with this old game you can go directly into the files for the game, unpack all the sounds and just grab them all straight for yourself, which is awesome. So that gave it kind of a sense of impact, but also a sense of, again, its history, and it's called the Legacy Starleague, so it's got that sense of legacy to it as well, incorporating stuff from the original game, which, for those who don't know, is actually from 1995 originally, so this is a game that's like 20 years old, so it's really cool to use all those old sounds. And then we've got all the melodic tracks organized into a folder there, and that's all the stuff like the violins. We've got some kind of weird organ synth, I don't know what that is now. Things like mid-legato synth, like no one would know what that is, but I know what that is and what that's meant to do. And guitar and choir and all that stuff. And I basically just wanted to give it quite a big, sort of fairly cinematic sound without it being too dramatic. And yeah, I think I achieved that quite well. Things like the choir and the guitar as well are in there because they were in the original game. So the choir is from one of the soundtracks of one of the races that you play as in the game. The guitar, again, it's a very recognizable instrument within the game from one of the recognizable themes. And so that's 2 out of the 3 races kind of represented in this track. Sorry about the third, couldn't get that squeezed in right there. And the voice you hear when as the logo lands, that's also from within the original game. So what else? Yeah, the rhythms. I want to talk about the rhythms. This is a thing which I felt maybe I would have wanted to do slightly differently in the end, and I think it got lost a bit in the eventual video. So I'm gonna play you those rhythms now, so you can hear what they sound like just by themselves. Oopsie, mute myself. So again, it's got this like spaceship / industrial thing kind of going on, which I was really fond of. I wanted it to be like this big machine, so it's like this bam, and it's often fairly heavily compressed, and that gives it the sound of like a big impact, like so if you see in a Hollywood film and you get a big impact, it'll often be compressed, so the sound will dip down at a certain level when it gets really loud, and so it gets a little bit of that too. And then at the end you've got like that engine sound, which yeah is meant to be like a spaceship engine kind of as it goes off. And the same is actually applies earlier on as well at a certain point, but I don't really know where to find that right now. So yeah, there's all these different elements which come together, and hopefully they make a really cool video. As you can see, I'm going to show you my console now as well, because with something like this it can often be very deceptive, because for a track that's only 50 seconds long and sounds relatively simple, I hope that's showing up. You've actually got all these different tracks right here. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So yeah, that's all the different tracks you got right here. So it was actually a fairly big sort of undertaking production-wise, because everything had to be really clean as well. Because it had to, I mean, it got lost sadly quite badly in the final video, I felt, with the way YouTube compressed it. But everything had to be kind of well produced. All the percussion had to be nicely compressed. Everything had to be at a loud volume because it's a trailer, so it had to come out loud. Which it did. I mean, it's mixed very close to the 0 dB mark where it starts clipping, where the sound starts distorting. Sorry, and yeah, so mixing all these tracks was a fairly big deal in itself. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to upload the original WAV file to a Dropbox, and I'm going to stick that in the description as well. So if you want, you can download it. You can hear the actual WAV file, and you can compare it with the final video and see what you think. See what you think the difference is. But yeah, I'm gonna go back and talk to the camera for a little bit. But I hope that gives you a bit of an insight into how this into how a project like this works and how I would approach it. Oh, I didn't even talk about the writing yet. Yeah, the writing. The pace of it is noticeably slower than a lot of trailers would be, because the pace of the video is actually quite slow.
I see you have an appetite for destruction.
So you know what, I'll play you a little bit of the video without the music. So you can see the pace of it is actually fairly slow. So I had to therefore take it in a little bit of different direction. And so the pace is naturally a bit slower than you would often get in a trailer, but I think that suits it a lot more. And actually, first time around, I went for like a really fast-paced kind of rock metal thing, which with my big, scary black 7-string guitar, which is like what a lot of tournaments tend to do for like their exciting music. But I thought that this needed something a bit different. Because of the pace, and I also thought it deserved something a bit different, because I'm a fan of the game. This is a tournament for the fans, and it's something people will be really excited about. So I thought I could go kind of a bit different and create something that couldn't literally just be, you know, a periphery track licensed in, because I think that, yeah, it could be a bit more special than that. But and I hope that worked out. If anything, I'd say maybe the rhythms didn't come through as clearly as I'd like, because I really like how they sound. They've got a great industrial kind of sound, and maybe that would have warranted a bit more tweaking. But again, in the compression, that got a bit more lost than I would have hoped. But yeah, anyway, that's the insight into how I came up with this and how I approached the project. And I hope this has been a really interesting look kind of inside my workflow.
So there we have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see, if you're interested in gaming and that sort of thing, you can head on over to TeamLiquid.net. I'm going to put the thing in the link to the tournament thread in the description below the video, so you can go and have a look at that if you're so interested. And there's going to be, you know, broadcasts of the tournament and all that kind of stuff. And if you're feeling really brave, you could play. But you'd be up against guys who have been playing for 20 years, so you know that's up to you. But so you're going to be able to see the video there, and that's the website where I blog as well. So if you find me on there, I'll put a link to my blog in the video description as well. So you can check out my blog as well for all that fun insight and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope this has been very interesting, and you'll see me again.